Hi, this is Isabella Breda, the editor-in-chief of The Echo, Cal Lutheran's student newspaper. February is Black History Month, and the Center for Cultural Engagement and Inclusion is holding multiple virtual and outdoor events to celebrate. Our reporter, Mikayla Galaviz, got the chance to catch up with Senior Coordinator for the Center for Cultural Engagement and Inclusion, Jonathan Gonzalez, and some of the Black-owned businesses who are participating in the festivities. She's joining us on the show today to elaborate on what Black History Month is and what's happening at Cal Lutheran. Welcome, Mikayla.
Hi, I'm Mikayla. I am a second year here at Cal Lutheran. I'm studying communications with an emphasis in journalism, and I'm also a film and television minor.
Well, welcome. And you're here today to talk a little bit about what Black History Month is and what Cal Lutheran has in store for us. So I was wondering if you'd start off with kind of the origins of Black History Month.
Yeah, so I was seeing stuff on social media about it, but I kind of wanted to include just the origins, because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand the origins, like when it comes to months that focus on different heritages and everything. And so Black History Month, the origins of Black History Month dates back to 1915 with a historian, Carter G. Woodson, who actually studied at Harvard, I believe. And so he wanted to celebrate the achievements of Black Americans nationwide. And so originally there was just a dedicated week throughout it was the second week of February, and that was the dedicated week to celebrate. And that was on the second week of February due to the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And so then that week started becoming popular nationwide in different colleges. And eventually, as the decades go on, especially during the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, it gained popularity. However, Black History Month wasn't really noticed by the government up until 1976 by President Gerald Ford. So just due to the popularity of it nationwide, it just went from a week to a month, and now it's what we know it as today.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think it was cool you included that in your article because the 1970s really, if you think about it, wasn't that long ago. So to know that this hasn't been a national holiday for that long is kind of crazy.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah. And so we are celebrating it here at Cal Lutheran, even though we're not all together in person. But I was wondering if you can give kind of a rundown of the events that are going on for students at Cal Lutheran for Black History Month.
Yeah, so the Center for Cultural Engagement and Inclusion put together different things to do throughout the month that we can celebrate together online. And so the first thing that they did was on February 1st, they gave out special curated boxes. And they've been doing this all year for different heritage months. So I remember they did the Latinx Heritage Month. They did it for Native American Heritage Month. I believe they're going to be doing it for Asian Pacific Islander and Women's History Month, which are coming up later this spring. And so, yeah, those have been a really good hit. The senior coordinator, Jonathan Gonzalez, told me that they've been really good. I actually got the Black History Month curated box, so I was really happy with everything that came in my box. It was super cool.
What'd you get in there?
So they had, and for each of these boxes, the CCEI has been getting things from small businesses, mainly found on Etsy and everything. And so in my box, I got a mask, I got an enamel pin of Malcolm X, I got a lip balm, I got a mask, a lip balm, I got a sticker, I got a little Black History Month cookie that was made from Breeze Cakes, and they're actually based in LA. And it was I already ate it, but it was shaped like Gumby, and it had a little Black History Month logo on it. It was really good. It was really cute. And I was just really happy with everything that came in it. So yeah, that was the first thing. Unfortunately, they all sold out. But if you're interested, they're doing them for the next few months.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then another thing that they're doing is they're encouraging the community to watch films that are centered around Black history. And the film that they decided to promote was I Am Not Your Negro. It came out in 2016. It is Academy Award nominated documentary. And it follows the novelist James James Baldwin's unfinished manuscript about the life of Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. And the reason they chose this one is because, actually, originally what they wanted to do was do an in-person, socially distanced movie night. However, because of the stay-at-home orders, that all changed. And actually, the movie that they wanted to do was 42, the movie about Jackie Robinson, not only because of Dodgers winning the World Series, but also to honor the late Chadwick Boseman. And also just because Jackie Robinson is such a, he was monumental when it comes to Black history. But they did choose I Am Not Your Negro just because it's free on Tubi. So students who are on campus, students who are off campus are able to access it. So yeah, they're going to be promoting that throughout the month. And if you need any more film recommendations, I got you.
Yeah, I was going to say that you're someone who's pretty heavy into like the film industry. So definitely reach out to Mikayla.
Yeah, definitely. I think my two favorites that I've watched recently are The Last Black Man in San Francisco and If Beale Street Could Talk. Those were both really, really good. So yeah, and then coming up next week on Tuesday, February 16th, they'll be hosting a playlist in the park at 3. And so what they'll be doing is they've created a playlist featuring numerous Black artists. And so if you go over there, you can not only get that playlist, but they'll also be giving out special Black History Month stickers and free cupcakes from Missy's Cupcake Creations, who is based in Ventura County. And I've actually got to talk to the owner, Missy Drayton, and she was super sweet. And all of her food looks really good. She said that her most popular one is Lemon Drop. So I'm really hoping they have those ones in the park. And then the last thing that they'll be doing is on Wednesday, February 24th, they're going to be giving a workshop on Zoom by Dr. Mary Whitehead, who is the Director of Student Diversity and Social Justice at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And so the reason why they chose her is because she has a lot of experience in higher education doing social justice work. That's what Jonathan Gonzalez has said. And she'll be hosting 2. There'll be one for faculty and staff and one for students. And so the one for faculty and staff will just be based on what they can do in the classroom. And then for students is kind of how we can continue our activism more on campus. And so really the whole purpose of that and the whole point of that is Dr. Whitehead will be giving us strategies on how to build on like our anti-racism work and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think it's cool. There's like a progression of like, okay, we have these Black History Month goodies. So you like start with like your little snack, cookie, lip balm, whatever, like get hyped about like the month in general. And then it's like, okay, now please like educate yourself. Here's a movie that's actually free and super accessible, which is really nice. I mean, college students are always looking for good deals. And like the fact that it's free, you really have no excuse. And then the playlist in the park, another like chill, get goodies, enjoy it. And then these educational sort of workshops to kind of like close it out in a way are really important because again, like a year ago is when the whole campus really started on this whole acknowledging our role in being anti-racist and addressing systemic racism. And so I feel like Dr. Mary Whitehead's like vast experience like in this area will be super beneficial for us to like see people who have been able to do it sustainably. I think it's called sustainable activism, which is like so fitting because it's like she's been putting in this work for years. And so being able to connect our community, which is like pretty new to this sort of thing, with her will be great. And we're super lucky to have her coming to campus. But yeah, and then I guess you did in your article highlight that all these events are from the CCEI. And I was kind of wondering if you could speak to the role of the CCEI like at Cal Lutheran. Like, why are they orchestrating all these events?
Yeah, so I just personally, I love the CCEI. My first semester freshman year, every single day, my friends and I would go to the CCEI and just hang out. It is such a fun little space, and I'm so heartbroken. I was actually the last people in there before they locked up for COVID.
The pandemic.
Yeah, it was funny because we were sitting in there, and then Jogo comes in and he said, "Oh, we're locking up for the break." And I remember we were all just like, kind of like, "Oh, we're the last people in here." But I really do miss it. But really the purpose of the Center for Cultural Engagement and Inclusion, it's just a space for students to learn about other cultures. And it's honestly can just be a comfort space for students of color, for LGBT students in general. And so I really love the work that they're doing. In the center itself, it's basically a space where you can learn. And so they have bookshelves filled with books written by people of color and LGBT people. They have tons of movies that you can rent out. And they actively promote small businesses owned by POC and LGBT people. I remember they used to give out little chocolates that was owned by I believe it was a Native American small business, and those chocolates were so good. And yeah, they hold different programs throughout the year. I know that another one of the programs that they're holding, it's supposed to be a place where people can learn about queer issues. And so I unfortunately missed this one last week, but I believe they're doing it once a month. And so I'm really excited. The fact that there's a space for students on campus to really learn, just to learn and to like organize things and to like socialize with people of different communities and of your own community. You know, you're able to have that kind of relationship with them. I think it's honestly just perfect. It's my favorite thing to do on campus. Their whole goal is to just appreciate diversity. And I think that's something that we really need on campus. And I really appreciate everything at the CCEI is doing. Yeah,
I mean, for sure. I think your experience speaks to many other students where you like sort of found your niche there. Like they have something for everyone, and they also like actively welcome people in to learn. Like the goal is for people to become more open-minded and aware and able to connect. And I think even despite like everything moving virtually, they've continued to really put in the work to be able to do that. And that shows in the fact that all of these Black History Month events, like they're spearheading them and ensuring like there's great marketing out there so that people know what's going on and can stay in touch, and like providing connections to like free educational resources and everything, and free Black-owned business goodies. Like,
yeah, definitely. I also think that the fact that it's become such a space of comfort, although it's a space of comfort, it's also a space where people can work on social justice issues. They can learn about different social justice issues, and by communicating together and by organizing together, you can create like advocacy. Like you can just grow on your advocacy and your activism through the Center for Cultural Engagement and Inclusion. And I think that that's really important, especially if we're talking about becoming a more inclusive campus.
Yeah. And I think you were saying it's a place of comfort, but also I could see it being a place of discomfort for people like wanting to confront their own biases and actively work to becoming an ally. I think it really inherits both those roles on our campus for students and faculty.
Definitely. Like I said, I love it. I can go on and on about it. It was the first place on campus when I came here that really made me comfortable.
Thank you so much for your time and for coming on here.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciate it.
Here's what else you need to know this week. Outdoor classrooms at Cal Lutheran will be reopening on February 16th in the first step in resuming in-person learning. Some professors, however, are not feeling confident about the return to campus when the county moves into the red tier. Our reporter, Mikayla Galaviz, has the story. Next thing you need to know this week. All Cal Lutheran sports are expected to return to play in some capacity during the spring semester. The men's basketball team was among the first to hit the court this week. Our reporter, Molly Hogwout, has the full story on athletics return. All of the news discussed in this podcast can be found at CLUecho.com. Thanks for listening.